Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 19 of season 3 of the F1 2019 HAAS Road to Glory career mode. We're back today for the US Grand Prix, and obviously if you missed out on the last video back at the Mexican Grand Prix, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was a very good race for ourselves in this series, and I'm hoping we can continue on some good form towards the end of this season. It's been an up and down year, like I've said, but, you know, we're ready to try and get prepared for Season 4. A bit of an update in the background as well. We are doing all the R&D parts, you know, we are getting everything sorted at the moment. It's looking like we should just about be able to get all the parts ready for Season 4. However, there will probably be no upgrades going on the car as well. So we're kind of relying on everyone else making a step backwards, which is probably not the safest thing to be doing in Formula 1, but it is the step that we are going to have to be making ready for Season 4. But yeah, obviously the US Grand Prix, though, the team's home race. Hopefully we can, like I said, continue the good form that we've had over the last couple of rounds. I mean, you know, we had that, what was I think, 5th place at the Russian Grand Prix, 7th last time out at Mexico as well. We're doing all right at the moment, and obviously big talking points towards the front of the field as well. Max Verstappen is looking very comfortable. He could, I don't think mathematically, wrap up the world title today, but he can pretty much, you know, like I said in the last couple of videos, he's got one hand on it, and he starts on the second row alongside his main title rival there. We had an okay qualifying session. In the end, you can see up into P12 after a couple of grid penalties and things like that helped me out. You see Nico Hülkenberg a bit out of position there, as well as Devon Butler as well. So yeah, we start P12 ready for the US Grand Prix. One of my better qualifying sessions, I think, so far of the year. But yeah, ready though for the US Grand Prix. Like I said, home race for the team. Hopefully we can have a good race out here today. Should be a fairly simple one-stop strategy. You know, Kota has never been particularly bad on the tyres. It's recommending a softs to hards race. However, we should be able to go soft-medium. In all honesty, that should be fairly plain sailing as well at the end of the day. Just about 1.5, 2 laps worth of spare fuel in the car as well. But yeah, we're ready then for the US Grand Prix here in the circuit of the Americas. The 5 lights are coming on now here for round 19 of the series, and it is 5 lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go. They're responding actually not particularly well. My teammate Roman Grosjean straight away getting able to get a much better start on the run down towards turn 1 there. But the stamp is well and truly going to be licked as we head through turn 1. Up the inside of quite a few cars there. We're going to be side by side with Weber as we head out turn 1 there. You can see he's actually picked up some front wing damage on the Ferrari. I think that was actually the contact with ourselves there. But we're straight up then into P10 of the Grand Prix. You know, we've got to go for those big move plays here in our home Grand Prix there. And yeah, straight up, like I said, into the points paying positions there, just behind Daniel Ricciardo, which is someone that we should be able to match in these Grand Prix there. But yeah, the perfect start that we needed. Not often do we make progress in the opening lap of these races, but that's exactly what we've done here today as we try to get the power down on the exit onto the back straightaway here. You can see everyone just coming over the hill. There are already a couple of guys at the front of the field starting to make a bit of a breakaway there. It looks to be Gasly and Valtteri Bottas there, as we've now got Weber trying to look up the inside. Ricciardo moves around a little bit in the braking zone there. That's going to put us off. That's going to allow Weber to get straight back up the inside in the Ferrari car there. So that's us back down into P11 there, and that was not what we needed towards the end of lap 1 as we file our way through sector 3. Ignore that corner. That was not our finest moment as well there. But yeah, see coming through the lovely Turkey S section to finish off the lap here around Kota. We have survived the opening lap. You know, we've got through it with no front wing damage. That's always the most important thing, and even better, we have actually made up 1 place over the Mclaren of Carlos Sainz when all is said and done there. So that is not exactly, you know, not perfect, but certainly better than a lot of times. We'll take it as we head back down in towards turn 1. Then we need to get past Weber once again before we head into the S's there, because I can just tell that front wing damage on the Ferrari is going to really cost him through this first sector here in down towards the S's. You can see though Ricciardo trying to hang on to the coattails of the guys just up in front here, and you know, we've seen it pretty much all the time in this series. We get Formula 1 and then Formula 1.5 in the second half of the field there. But on towards the end of lap 3, this was starting to see the breakaway that I was expecting here. You know, we still had, though, I'd almost forgot about him already in this Grand Prix, Nico Hülkenberg, who was obviously trying to get past all of the backmarker cars here, down in towards turn 1, straight up the inside like I was basically standing still through the first corner there. And yeah, the Racing Point now moves himself up into the top 10 of this Grand Prix there. You can see just how quickly, you know, that gap opens up to the top half of the field here. On to lap 5 we go. You can see Sykes now is trying to apply some pressure to us as well here. So once again, just seeing in this HAAS car, qualifying pace is okay. But like we tended to see in 2019 in real life there, race pace, they struggle a little bit more as we head down the back straight. We're going to force Sykes to the outside there. Can we keep the nose up the inside? Very, very late on the brakes. They're actually locking up the front inside wheel, but we do just about get it slowed down. And we do hold on and live to fight another day here ahead of Carlos Sainz there. Hulkenberg, though, already 4 seconds up the road. Just goes to show, you know, that Racing Point is still definitely the second fastest car in this series. But now, on to lap 7. You can see on the minimap there, yellow flags are out, and it looks to be the Australian of Daniel Ricciardo here. What has happened there? I'm guessing it looks like a complete car failure there. So that is not what the Mercedes man needed there. He's only scored 1 point so far in this season there. And yeah, that is Ricciardo out of the Grand Prix there. The safety car has also been deployed, so that's going to work out quite nicely for ourselves. Could we potentially think about trying to take some tyres to the end of the Grand Prix here? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, heartbreak once again for Daniel Ricciardo. He very much looked like he was going to be able to pick up his 2nd point of the series there. But coming towards the end, though, of lap 7, only a quarter of the way into this Grand Prix so far, and we're already diving in for our pit stop here. We're hoping that these medium tyres should be able to go right the way through to the end of the Grand Prix, but it's going to be very, very difficult to try and keep them in good nick here. 20 laps on this set of tyres there. We're going to try and get back out the pit lane there, but you can see everyone Constantina and in just behind us there. I'm pretty much, you know, I think about 15 cars decided they'd dive into the pits there. You can probably take the hards there to see Gasly and Sainz around us have both done quite safely to the end of the Grand Prix. But these mediums might be a little bit more difficult, I'll be honest with you. We'll wait and see as to how this strategy does work out there. But on to the end, though, of lap 9. Getting ready now for the safety car restart here. We're down into P12, so we've got a couple of cars up the road that we should be theoretically a bit quicker than here. As you can see, out of the final corner, making a big hash, actually, of the safety car restart there, losing a lot of time to the guys in front. Luckily, obviously, no DRS just yet. Sainz would have definitely been able to have a look up the inside, down in towards turn 1 there. There's huge lunges, though, coming out. Lucas Weber, I think, made 3 places down in towards turn 1 there. That was the send, you know, that made me proud, in all honesty, from my old GP2 teammate there as we head back through turn 1, well, through the S's even, I should say. You can see we're trying to stick with Gasly at the moment, but it's not looking too good as we head through the next couple of corners here. We need to see which of the guys are really starting to cause a bit of a train up in that top group there. Is now, yeah, Lucas Weber in the Ferrari, actually on another set of the soft compounded tyres here, so he's going to try and make the 2-stop work by the looks of it here. And I mean, surely we're not going to be able to defend from him for very long in this Grand Prix there, because he's now going to have a much better top-end speed down the back straighter there. And yeah, nothing we can do to the Ferrari, especially now he's got his front wing back intact as well there. So we're just going to slot in behind him, play the patience game here. Like I said, you know, we're going to have another chance, or hopefully another chance, to defend from Lucas Weber after he makes his final call of the Grand Prix here. But you can see onto the end, though, of lap 11. Now we were starting to see this train starting to form just in front of us there, and it looked like it was Lance Stroll, actually, who was being the bottle in this whole situation there. Just see Perez tries to go for a lunge down in towards turn 1 there. Doesn't quite work out on the Mclaren there. They're going to go side by side in towards the S's here. Who's going to come out on top in this situation? It looks like the Williams has done so this time around there, but that still leaves Butler, Gasly, Weber, and myself, 4 of F2, you know, over the last couple of years there, stuck in this train behind the Mclaren car here as we head out of the S's for the 12th time in this Grand Prix there. We've got Alexander Albon now in the Toro Rosso just behind us there. There's going to be big sends coming out. Gasly tries to go up the inside of a couple of cars there. Weber parks it on the apex there. No idea how he didn't pick up any front wing damage in that situation as we now try to head back up the straightaway here. You can see Devon Butler now trying to go a bit defensive, but also attacking on Lance Stroll there. They're going to go 3 wide just in front of us in towards the braking zone there. A little bit of contact. Everyone trying to be aggressive with each other. We tried to go for the opportunistic move up the inside of 2 cars there. Myself and Devon Butler doing the Zonta on Lance Stroll there. When we make the move work, we're now back up into P11 of the Grand Prix here. We've got Weber who needs to pit again just in front of us here, and I'm sure we're going to see it from a few more cars as well in this Grand Prix. So it's all looking quite good at the moment. It's all starting to fall into place for ourselves. There is someone else is now having issues with the car as well. I couldn't quite catch who Jeff was talking about in that situation though. End of lap 12, you can see though, Devon Butler diving into the pit lane as well as Nico Hulkenberg here. So he's now going to try and go through to the end of this race. I'm sure we're going to see him fly back past us as well over these next few laps here. We can see still just about hanging on with Perez, Gasly and Lucas Weber as we head through turn 1 here. But over the next couple of laps, we'd mainly just be focused on where the safety car, the safety car? I meant the pit window even, I should say, when these guys would all be making their pit stops here. Gasly, though, trying to have a look around the outside of Sergio Perez as we head down through Sector 3 here. Not often do you see overtakes there. A lot of contact between the pair of them there, and Weber once again caught a bit napping there. We tried to get up the inside of Sergio Perez as well, though, so we're now up into P9 of the Grand Prix. Perez, though, clearly struggling a bit. Looks like I think he's got some front wing damage there, so as we head through the Turkey S section, once again, we're now up into P8 of the Grand Prix, so it's all starting to look well for ourselves at the moment here as we head now on to lap 16, though it wouldn't be long before Weber once again was applying the pressure here. It was just a yo-yo with him at the moment. We were constantly locked into battle, but it seemed like every time he had the clear upper advantage there. As you can see, gets himself back up into P8 of the Grand Prix, and once again, we're just not going to try and fight him at the moment. We're going to try and stick to our own game plan at the moment and just hang on in there, trying to keep the tyres in good nick as well. It was obviously going to be critical between now and the end of this Grand Prix here. Is coming down towards the end of lap 16. We're going to see even more cars now. It looks like a Williams as well as Valtteri Bottas are both going to dive in to the pit lane here. And there we go. We're now past Bottas, back up into P8 once again. We need to see Weber make his pit stop as well. I'm sure that's going to happen quite soon in this race. But 11 laps to go at the moment. We're about halfway through this stint on the set of the mediums, and they were hanging on in there absolutely fine at the moment. Like I said, Kota is a bit weird. It always seems to me like it should shred through the tyres, but you never really seem to have too many issues around this circuit. It's a very, very good track. The grip on it is incredible around here, where it's a very, very modern circuit. Unfortunately, the Coda's games don't quite give you, just don't quite show you how bumpy this place is on the other hand. But yeah, lap 19 now, 9 laps to go. Bottas screaming past us down the back straightaway there. We'd actually had Weber dive it in for his second pit stop here. So we had him and Hulkenberg as well as I think Devon Butler. And we're all going to be trying to apply the pressure in towards the latter stages of this Grand Prix there. But Hulkenberg, he was sat behind us, but really wasn't making much progress at the moment here. You can see now onto lap 21 here. I'm guessing it was him that had the mechanical issues in this Grand Prix. He still had a small pace advantage over us at this stage of the race here, as you're going to see just fly past us down the back straightaway there. But yeah, really just couldn't make a breakaway. Couldn't just do anything with it, in all honesty. It was very, very weird to see from the racing point there as we tried to go back up the inside there. A little bit of a clumsy attempt from myself there. But yeah, Hulkenberg just not making it work at the moment. Really, really struggling for pace in the Grand Prix there. I think he might have a bit of front wing damage there, but as well, mechanical issues seem to be plaguing Racing Point once again in this series there. Is now on to lap 25. You can see Lucas Weber now had really once again just closed up the gap to us here. We seem to have spent all race long trying to defend from Lucas Weber here. And yeah, once again, 3 laps to go now of the Grand Prix. I don't think there's going to be much we can try and do in this situation. However, we have still got the DRS from Nico Hulkenberg here, so we're trying to hold on as best as possible. If we can get into the last couple of laps, 2 points is 2 points at the end of the day in the HAAS Road to Glory. But I think I've just spoken a little bit too soon there. Weber tries to get the nose back up the inside. Nope, we seem to have held on for it just about for now. But yeah, unfortunately the understeer kicks in massively there, and that's going to be a nice wide open door, a track width of open door there for Lucas Weber, who now, yeah, slots himself up into P9 of the Grand Prix there. And yeah, we try and hang on with him, but, we're not going to sugarcoat it at the end of the day. We basically just brought the car home at the end of this race there. On to lap 28 we go. Surprise, surprise. It was yet another race victory from Max Verstappen. Unstoppable in this series. And yeah, I think next time at the Brazilian Grand Prix, he only needs to finish like P8, I think it is, to wrap up the world title now. But down in towards the final few corners of this US Grand Prix, our home race, we're going to come through for points. I can call that a success at the end of the day. They're out of the final corner. It's going to be P10 at the US Grand Prix that I will certainly take that. Very, very happy with the strategy call today. And once again, the pace hanging on in there.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
My driver of the day was Devon Butler. He did an amazing job pushing through the field, cementing his growing reputation for ruthlessly running down those top positions.
Let's move on to the constructors, and it's another title in the bag for Red Bull. After a long and hard-fought season, they built an astonishing car this year, and the glory they'll be taking back to Milton Keynes is fully deserved. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the US Grand Prix, and it's Verstappen domination once again there on the one-stop strategy from third on the grid, jumping Lewis Hamilton for the race victory there. However, Hamilton, you know, it's a good result for Renault with the fastest lap as well. They've certainly been a bit of a dark horse in this season so far there. Sebastian Vettel in P3, another 10 points lost to Max. It's a case of when rather than if at this point there. Pierre Gasly comes through for P4 at the end of the day, ahead of Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris there. Lucas Weber finishes 7th from 10th on the grid, ahead of Valtteri Bottas, who started from the pole position there. Hulkenberg, a good recovery to 9th, ahead of myself there, with Devon Butler, fantastic drive by him from the back of the grid there to barely miss out the points by just 0.4 of a second to myself there. Sergio Perez down in P12 there, not the race he wanted at the end of the day there, with my teammate Grosjean holding on to P13 there, but yet again not scoring any points in this race. Lance Stroll in 14th, Danny Kvyat making good progress up into 15th there, ahead of Giovinazzi, Albon, Carlos Sainz, Raikkonen, and then Ricciardo, the only man not to make it through to the end of the Grand Prix there. And yeah, Verstappen now got a 45-point lead over Sebastian Vettel, so all he needs to do is finish P7, if I'm not mistaken, in the Brazilian Grand Prix next time out. He'll then have a big enough margin that Sebastian Vettel... No, it won't even... Yeah, no, P7, sorry. And then Sebastian Vettel won't be able to close up the gap at the end of the day there. The only switches, though, Hamilton re-jumping Nico Hulkenberg for P4 in the championship there, and Lando Norris jumping back past myself there. I think that good result for him has solidified in P9 in the championship. But as long as we can hold on ahead of Sergio Perez, I will quite happily take 10th in the Drivers' Championship there. No changes as well in the Constructors. However, if I'm not mistaken, Red Bull now have mathematically guaranteed themselves the title. If I'm not mistaken there, I think they have got a 88-point lead over the Racing Point there, if I'm not mistaken. But there we are then, guys, the end of the US Grand Prix. Thank you all for the continued support on the channel as well. Do get yourself subscribed if you're new around here and you do want to see the final 2 rounds of this series. We'll also be bringing the finale of the F2 career mode over the coming days as well. So plenty of finales actually on the channel over the coming weeks. But yeah, that'll do us for this one then, and hopefully I will see you next time out at Brazil.